Okay, there's traffic. Today we are going to be talking about the top 3 ways that we stay healthy in a tiny space, which is the whole reason we created this YouTube channel, so you can know how to be healthy in tiny spaces, whether that's a van, a storage unit, or even if you're homeless. You can stay well when you're like that. The first thing we're going to talk about today is, there's 3 things that we're going to actually talk about today. So the first thing we're talking about is food. So we're going to be talking about my staple foods, what I keep in the pantry at all times, how I cook, and what's in the fridge. In the van, it's super important to us that we have fresh food. So we stop at local farmers markets all the time. A roadside stand that has eggs, or it's an actual established farmers market, we stop at those and fill up with eggs and organic produce, local produce, everything like that, farm fresh meats. When it comes to the fridge, it's just really filled with all of those organic things that we're talking about, the organic produce, the organic meat, farm fresh eggs, different things like that. And then when it comes to cooking, when it comes to cooking, I mostly just cook for the meal we're eating for. So if we're having breakfast, I don't really have anything prepped. I just cook for that meal, cook for the meal for lunch, cook for the meal for dinner, because we don't have a ton of space to store a bunch of like meal prepped veggies, and we cook right here in our kitchen in our van. What's great about that is, since we cook for each meal, everything we eat is fresh. You know, there's no bacteria growing on food. We're not eating any packaged foods, really. We're just eating fresh food that we get from our local farmers markets that are seasonal. Seasonal is super important. We'll talk about that later. The next thing that we're going to talk about is being active, staying active in the van. This is so important because this is a tiny space, and if you were to spend all of your time in here, it just wouldn't be good. So we love to go hiking, we love to go on runs, walks, just really explore new areas. We just got our bike back, so now we can bike around. Running is a great way to really explore a new city because it's a little faster than walking, but then you don't have to be driving around where you miss everything. So ideally we love to be in a place where we can hike, go for like a 7 to 10 mile hike, exhaust Gilligan, so he's down and out for like the next 3 days, just chilling. I do some yoga in the van right here. There's lots of ways to stay active, so just make sure that if you're in a tiny space that you're outside as much as possible. You want to live out of this space, not in it. The third thing that we're talking about is just really being mindful in this tiny space. So you get the space, what the heck do you do in it? It's so small, and how do you keep up a routine in it? One of the top ways that I practice mindfulness in the van is just keeping it clean. I'm a clean freak, and that's something that's really important to me. This is such a small space, so if one thing is out of place, it can seem super cluttered. So we have spaces for everything. Everything has a home, and we do not have a junk drawer. We have a not junk drawer. This is the not junk drawer. It has my purse in it, a cribbage board, a dry brush board, or dry brush. And then another way that we stay mindful in the van is doing meditation and yoga. For all my Christian friends out there, I'm a Christian. You don't have to be afraid of meditating. It talks about it in the Bible all the time. It just helped me. It helped me during a time where I was really sick and I couldn't do anything. It keeps me young. Just establishing a practice in here is going to be your best friend. Create something that you can do in the space every single day without opening the doors, because then it won't matter what's happening around you. You know that you'll have that consistency inside of your van doors. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more quick, small tips like this. These are just bite-sized pieces that we want you to be able to incorporate into your tiny living space. It's a space that you get to dwell in and be in. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next Wednesday.